All right, so I thought instead of reviewing the latest episode of The Walking Dead, season 11, episode 18, which came out a week ago on AMC Plus, but came out this Sunday for everybody else, I thought I would just talk about this one scene. So I've had a lot of complaints about the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth feels like this incoherent mess as far as like this story goes. Like not just the story, but the Commonwealth itself as a community in the apocalypse. Like how do they get ice cream? Like what? That takes real manufacturing to actually make like that not just to make a small batch of ice cream, but to make ice cream where you have ice cream cones and you can serve an entire large community with ice cream. Or how do they make the armor that the stormtroopers wear? It's useless armor, sure, but how do they manufacture it? I mean, it's not a plausible post-apocalyptic society. I would much rather see a society where the armor looks like something you could hand make, with sewing machines. And I don't know how to make armor, but people do know how to do this, and they could do it without making like plastic stormtrooper looking armor. And you could have, you could show more scenes of people making do with a world that isn't modern. Like the Commonwealth is trying to get back to that, but there's no way that they could ever achieve that just on their own. Manufacturing is, I used to work at an ice cream cone factory. To make those ice cream cones, you would have to get, shipments from all over the world of sugar, of tapioca, of flour, brown sugar, all kinds of stuff, right? And then you'd have to mix them, and you'd have to make batter, and you had giant ovens that would produce these things. It's not something you can do without a manufacturing industry. A lot of these things, and also the people there are just so ridiculous. Like most of them look like they never ever even went through an apocalypse. They're just walking around in polo shirts, and in this episode when they see a few zombies, all hell breaks loose. Like this should be a culture of people who are accustomed to survival. It feels to me like in The Walking Dead, we either get crazy communities like the Whisperers, or we get these like ridiculously ill-equipped, unprepared communities like Alexandria or the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth has like an army, but its soldiers seem totally incompetent. And it's just aggravating to me because it's sort of like when you make your hero smart by making every other character stupid. Well, they're doing this with The Walking Dead. Only our heroes, only Daryl and all the Carol and that whole group are hardened survivors. Everybody else sucks. Who Judith is better prepared and more able to take care of herself and fight zombies than anybody in the Commonwealth, including the soldiers, other than maybe Mercer, right? It's preposterous. But what I really wanted to talk about that sort of highlights the absurdity of the Commonwealth to me is the scene with the WWE wrestling. There's a whole scene, and I'm going to show it. There's a whole scene where there are three guys, all big muscular dudes who look like wrestlers, all dressed in silly, goofy costumes, on an actual like wrestling mat with the ropes on the side and everything, who duke it out with fake wrestling moves. They have an announcer come on ahead of time, and he's like, "Are you ready to rumble?" or something, similar. It's not exactly that. And then they all fight it out with these fake moves and yada yada yada. And this is so fucking absurd. I had to just kind of laugh about it. It's just ridiculous. I get that they're trying to show that they're like trying to have a piece of the old world like thrown in there, but it would never happen. It's never going to happen. And it made me think way back to Woodbury and the governor. And there is a scene of a staged fight, but with real punches between Merle and Martinez, I think is the character's name. And this is, the governor shows Andrea this fight. They've got zombies on chains that are surrounding the fighters. The fighters come in and they really like punch and kick each other. And the zombies get closer as they release the chains. And the governor reveals to Andrea that it's not actually as barbaric as she thinks, because they have taken the teeth out of the zombies, so they can't actually bite. So these fighters, well, it looks like they're getting closer and closer to the zombies while they're fighting. They're actually not. Now, this to me is actually a really cool example of what fake wrestling might look like in a zombie apocalypse, right? They're going to fight. It's going to be down and dirty, but they're going to have zombies involved. And those zombies are actually the fake part about it, right? This is a more brutal world, so the fighting itself is real. that threat of the zombie bite is fake. That's where they fake it. And I just thought that's very clever, right? Especially when you compare the two. And it really illustrates to me just how far The Walking Dead has fallen from those glory days. How this community, the Commonwealth, is so preposterous and ill-conceived compared to the Woodbury people and the governor and that community. And I know it's partly, the actual comic books to blame, because the Commonwealth is taken from the actual comic books. But the show is mostly also butchering this plot line. And these are just two great scenes to watch side by side to kind of illustrate that point. So let me know what you thought of the latest episode in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that jazz. Peace.